today we are going to be doing more than just sitting here waiting for wait. I'm going to be doing more than just sitting here, you know, rambling or saying the same thing over and 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 over again. It's probably not a good idea anymore to keep doing that. So I come up with a plan, a great plan, a plan that is probably more beneficial to you than just, talking about music or whatever. We can talk about that too, but the main topic of tonight on this live stream is going to be something called Bible study. Yeah, Bible study. And hopefully, and okay, I can give you a rundown of what that is, which most of you probably already know. Bible study is when you, well, my term and definition of Bible study, if you look this up, it's probably not going to say this word for word. Just so you know, in the dictionary or Google or wherever you look the meanings up at. This probably is not going to be the exact thing it says, but this is my definition of Bible study. Okay? When you open up the Bible, and read a passage and, dissect the passage and apply the different things to your life that you learn from that. However, what I don't think Bible study is, okay, we're going to do that. We're going to do all, we just said how I define, for lack of a better word, Bible study. Now I'm going to define how I don't define Bible study. And how I don't define Bible study is when you just do this, open up, read the verse, shut it, I'm done. I read it, I can just check it off the box. Did you read the Bible today? Yeah. What do you remember? Or what did you read? I don't know. I don't remember. What did you get out of it? I don't know. See my point? That's not studying. That's just opening it, reading it, shutting it, and then, I did it. At least I did it, right? No. Well, you did it, but, you should study it. If you really want to dig deep into the passage that you're, reading. Or, you could just open the Bible to a random verse. I've done this before. You could just open up the Bible to a random verse, and then you can read it, but, in other words, dissect it, which means, take every part of the verse and what does it mean to you type of a thing. So that's, kind of what we're going to be doing today. We're also going to be doing some other things, so all of you, stick around. You won't want to miss this, because if you get off of this before I'm done, or before this video is over and I end it, you'll miss quite a bit of good things. Hi, how are you guys doing? So I feel like most of you guys weren't here for the introduction, but what I'm doing today, well, you can probably see the title. Anyways, I'll just tell you as well. We're doing Luke 15. So if you have a Bible at your house, or, if you have a Bible, even on your phone, you can go to Luke 15, verse 11. That's where we're going to be starting. Hi. So, I'll give you a few seconds, minutes, whatever you need to do that. And do me a favor. Some people are already doing it. Let's just do it, right? All of you guys that are watching right now, say something in the comment section. This should be fun. Say it. Or if you want to, say something in the comment section. I have one too. Great. Yeah. Luke 15:11 is where we're starting tonight. Yeah. And after this, after the Bible study, I would like to know from you guys if you want more of these. Because I can guarantee you'd rather have these than me sitting here saying, does anybody else have anything they want to say? And then nobody responds or something. I think you guys would rather have this. And I'm hoping you guys would rather have this. Because, it's kind of boring when I'm just sitting here saying, okay, does anybody else have anything they want to say? Over and over and over. I can see it like it's could get boring because it does for me. So, we're doing Bible study. Everybody in the comment section, which I know it's only 3 people, how about you all, even if you already have, say something in the comments. 2 people. Say something in the comment section. That'd be really 5 people. Okay, we're going to keep growing. Say something in the comment section before we get started the Bible study. Please, if you want to. If you want to. You don't have to. You know. But if you'd like to. Not sure what you mean with that. I meant say hi or something in the comment section. Again, I don't know what you're talking about. But do you play Fortnite? I have before, yes. I mean, it's been a while, but I have. I played it. Currently, not much anymore. But sometimes I get the kind of whatever it's called, where I just play it and then after that, it's like I had enough Fortnite for months or so, and then I don't play it for a long time. So, so well, thing about that is, I think I have to update it or something, and I'm not sure I have enough space on my console. The most games that I play are NBA basketball games, which, if I've never said it before, okay, I'm not going to say that because it'd be kind of like bragging. So, now, shall we move on to the Bible study? You know, maybe I should just move on to the Bible study. Should I? Do you guys want me to move on to the Bible study right now? We've been live for almost 8 minutes. Yes. Okay. Shall we do it? Here we go. Do you guys have your Bibles open so that you can follow along? Luke 15, starting at verse. Last time I said verse 1, I meant verse 11. That's why you might have got 2 notifications that I was going live because I got it wrong. So here we go. Luke 15, starting at verse 11. To give you context on where we're at, Jesus is teaching here. It's like a series of parables that he is teaching to these people. So yeah, the one that was before this was the lost sheep parable. The lost coin parable and the lost sheep parable. So we're gonna get started with the parable of the lost son. And now I've done this before. Now I don't know if I've preached or I've done a sermon or whatever, a Bible study about it on here necessarily, but I have elsewhere. I've done this sermon on the parable of the lost son, or the prodigal son, as I think it's either way. You use the parable of the lost son, prodigal son, the same thing, same story. So here we go. The parable of the lost son. Now, if you guys have anything you'd like to, add as I'm reading this, or verses that you like from this story, this passage, feel free to comment them in the comment section, okay? If you'd like to. So, shall we get started? He also said, a man had 2 sons. The younger of them said to his father, Father, give me the share of the estate I have coming to me. So he distributed the assets to them. Not many days later, the younger son gathered together all he had and traveled to a distant country where he squandered his estate in foolish living. Which technically means he spent all of his money, wasted it actually. After he had spent everything, all his money, all the, the heritage his father gave him the money, after he spent it all, a severe famine struck the country. And so he spent everything he had, right? So if he spent everything he had, what did he have after that? So if he spent all of his money, all of his resources, whatever, on, all of it, every bit of it, what would he have after that? Nothing, right? So it says, then he went to work for one of the citizens of that country, who sent him into his fields to feed pigs. He longed to fill his what? Okay, let me read that verse. He longed to eat his fill from the pods that the pigs were eating, but no one would give him anything. When he came to his senses, he said, how many of my father's hired workers have more than enough food? And here I am, dying of hunger. I'll get up, go to my father, and say to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and in your sight. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Let's stop right there. This parable is about God and us. We are like the prodigal son. The Father is like God. Sometimes we do feel like, and we might be, we do sin against heaven and against God, and we're not worthy to be called His child. The only reason why we are is because we accept Jesus and because of Jesus. That's it. And then He says, make me like one of your hired workers. But this was before He talked to His Father. And then it says, that was when He was thinking about it, or, saying, I'm going to go to my Father and say that. He hasn't said this to His Father yet. So He got up and went to His Father. This part is important. Make sure you're listening to this part. Well, to all of it, but you know what I mean. But while the son was still a long way off, his father saw him and was filled with compassion. You see, he ran, threw his arms around his neck, and he kissed him. How I look at it is this. The son went away, right? And, he just left because his father gave him everything he had going for him, and he left. He went to the city, and that was it. That was all. The father knew, right? He just went away. He left. And how I imagine is this, and all of you that are still here, make sure you stay for this part. One of the most, well, not one of the most important parts, but a pretty important part. So all the father knew was the son got his inheritance and he left. He was like, I want my stuff now, and I want you to give it to me now, and I just want to go. I don't want to stay here, anymore. I want to live my own life. I want to go off and do my own thing. So he did. He left, he went away, he did his own thing. That's all the father knew of what happened to what was going on with the son, was that he went on and lived his own life. How I picture it is this. The father knew that. The father knew that his son went away with all of the inheritance and the money and, whatever his father gave him that was his part of the inheritance. Whatever that was, all of it, the father knew that he went away with it, but that's all he knew. But in the midst of that, in the midst of the father knowing, hey, my son just took all of his inheritance, and he just went and is probably going to, do some unwise things with it, right? And he didn't say, oh, I don't love my son anymore because he did that. Or, oh, I hate my son. He didn't say anything like that. How I picture it is this. The father knew that the son went away with all of his inheritance, with all of his resources, with all of his, inheritance was father. The younger son went away. Every day, this is how I look at it. Every day since then, and it wasn't just a short while, at least how I take it, it's not. It wasn't just 30 minutes, oh, he comes back, or I don't know if it was a day, but I don't feel like it was. This is what I think. Every day after the son left, his father went out every day and was waiting for his son to come home. And he never did. When we walk away, when we take all of our inheritance, and we want to live our own way, our own life, our own will to be done, our own plans, whatever, and we do that, and we go and we just live, and we just, do everything we want to do without thinking about anything about what God would want us to do. And we just put God behind us. And we're like, I'm in charge. I'm doing what I want to do, and nobody's going to stop me. Hold on. That's what the son did. I'm in charge. I have all my stuff, and I'm going to go live however I want to live. That's kind of what we do sometimes, don't we? And guess who is always waiting for us to come home? Guess who is always waiting for us with his arms wide open? Honestly, for me, it is hitting. It's hitting home. I hope it is for you too. Every day, we choose, whether we know it or not, when we choose to do what we want to do, when we choose to not accept God, not accept his gift, the free gift of salvation, and we just live our own way, our own desires, our own wants, our own will, it's almost like we're taking our inheritance and we're leaving, and we're doing what we want to do. We're living our own life, but just like the prodigal son here. And as we're doing that, as we're living our own lives, as we're doing what we want to do, and all our desires are being met, during that time, God is waiting. He's looking down the road as far as he can see, waiting for you to come home. He is waiting for you to realize that whatever you do, your resources, your inheritance can't save you or fill the void that's inside of you. And he knows that only he can. And he's like, you want to do this? I'll be waiting for you with my arms wide open. I will stand here until you come back. I won't leave, and I won't stop looking for you waiting for you with my arms wide open day after day after day after day. Those of you, and me too. if we're like the prodigal son here, God, and when we get like the prodigal son here, God is waiting. He is waiting with his arms wide open, waiting for you to come home, waiting for you to realize that he is what you need and not your stuff, not your inheritance, not your money, not your will, not your desires. He is waiting for you to realize the need that you have for him and that void that's inside of you that none of this other stuff's filling. He is the one that can fill it, and he is waiting for you to come home so he can fill it. He is waiting for you to come home so you can be his child again. He is waiting for you to come home for that addiction to break. He is waiting for you to come home to stop the sinful cycle. He is waiting for you to come home. He is. Just like the son realized his need for us to go home. Like see, the inheritance, the money, the stuff, whatever, the desires, maybe the desires are being met, but it wasn't doing any good because he was doing what he wanted to do and not, he was living his own life how he wanted it to be done, and that was unwise decision on his part, because he could have saved all that, for the future, for his life, and he went out and spent it all on stuff that doesn't get you really anywhere, right? The son said to his father, "Father, I have sinned against heaven and in your sight. I am no longer worthy to be called your son." Have you ever felt like you weren't worthy to be a child of God? But the father told his servants, and listen, it doesn't say, "Oh yeah, you're a servant. You're not worthy to be my son. You can be called my son." He doesn't say that. Instead, and really, the only thing he's focused on is that his son came back home. But the father told his servants, "Quick, bring out the best robe and put it on him. Put a ring on his finger and sandals on his feet. Then bring the fattened calf and slaughter it. And let's celebrate with a feast, because this son of mine was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found." So they began to celebrate. It doesn't say, "I am very disappointed in you, son. I gave you all the inheritance, all your inheritance, and you went out and blew it all. You wasted it all." He didn't say, I want you to be a servant. I don't want you to be called my son. I don't want you to be associated with me. I want you to be a servant. In fact, why did you come home? He did not say that. Instead, he says, "Let's celebrate, because this son of mine was dead." And he is alive again. He was lost, and now he's found. When we're not with God, we're lost. And sometimes we even feel like we are, for real. But then when we come back to God, we are found. God leaves the 99 sheep and he goes after the one. That's how important you are to him. You are so important. He leaves the 99 for one sheep, for one person. And that person is you. That person is me. at one time or another in our lives. He leaves the 99 to go after the one. That is the God that we worship. The only true God. And he is, if you're not with him today, he is waiting for you. He waits every day. Like, I mean, how I'm, how the perspective I'm saying it. He goes out, like, and he looks, and he stands there all day, waiting with his arms wide open for when his son comes home, when his daughter, when his child comes home. He is standing there waiting for you to come home to him. For you to realize that the need or the void cannot be filled by whatever the world has to offer. And it can only be filled, the void and can only be filled by him. The void can only be filled by God, and whatever, there's a God-shaped hole. And the void cannot be filled by anything this world has to offer. Because, listen, God made you. God made me. There is only, the void can only be filled, there's only a God-shaped hole. That's the hole, the God-shaped hole, the void. It's God-shaped, meaning nothing else can fill it. Only God can fill the void that is inside of you. The void that you're trying to fill, or me too, at one time, with all the stuff that the world has to offer. And if you do it long enough, you'll realize the world doesn't help, the world isn't filling it. That's when God comes in. That's when you realize the need for him. When you try everything, and everything, all of it, fails to fill the void, fails to satisfy you, fails to bring you whatever you thought it would. And if anything, it's temporary and it's not everlasting. Whatever you try to fill the void with, other than God, is temporary. God is not. God is eternal. God is everlasting. And when you realize your need for him, that's like when the prodigal son said, well, I had it better back then. That's maybe when we're like, back when I was on fire for God, and now I'm kind of drifted away. I had it back then. But now, I'm lost. Now, I'm starving. Now, the void isn't being filled. And if it is, it's only with temporary things. Now, I realize I need to go back. I need to change course. I need to turn around. I need to do something different. Something's got to change. It has to. Something has to change. And at that point, when the prodigal son realized that, and he went back, he said it. He was saying, I'm not worthy to be called your son. Make me like one of your hired servants. He didn't think his father would say, oh yeah, son, you're home. He thought he'd say, yeah, you're a hired servant. Sometimes is that how we feel? Sometimes when we did the worst thing, maybe it's an addiction. Maybe it's something that you did way back when and you can't forget about it. Just, nags and nags and nags at you and it won't stop. Maybe you feel like you're like, I don't think I could be God's child anymore. What did the father say to the son? He said, let's celebrate because this son of mine was dead. But now he's alive again. He was off doing his own thing, her own thing. But then they came back. They realized their need and a God-shaped hole, once the God-shaped hole, everything else was not fulfilling it. Everything else couldn't fill it, and if it did, it was only for temporary, amount of time. The prodigal son knew his need. The prodigal son knew that he was starving and he made a mistake. He knew that he wasted his inheritance. But he went back to his father, back where it all began. Back before he went and wasted all of his money. Back before we went and we just did our own will, did whatever felt good to us, did, whatever. We had this addiction or whatever it is. I'm not saying any specific person or whatever. I'm just saying, the equivalent to going out and spending all your inheritance. Like the prodigal son did. And when we did that, it's like we were dead. But when we came back, it's like we were alive again. When we realized our need for God, and then we come back to Him, it's like we're alive again. Let's continue the story. And his father didn't just have the younger son. And he had an older son too. So how do you think his older son took it when his younger brother came back? Let's see. Now, his older brother... okay. Let me redo it. Now, his older son was in the field. As he came near the house, he heard music and dancing. That's weird. I never hear that any day, and I've never heard it. Oh, I wonder what's happening. Maybe, maybe, I don't know what he's thinking. Maybe somebody got married or whatever. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe the father got more, richer, whatever. I don't know, but maybe that's what he was thinking. But, so he summoned the servants to find out, what's happening, what's going on. So he summoned one of the servants questioning what these things meant. And this response of the servant was probably not expected by the older brother. Your brother is here, he told him, and your father has slaughtered the fattened calf because he has him back safe and sound. So when the older brother heard that, do you think he's like, oh yes, my brother's back? Do you think he's excited? Do you think he was, how do you think he felt? This is the audience participation part. How do you think the older son felt when the servant told him that his brother has come home? Those of you that are still watching, I love it if you'd interact with me here. So how do you think the older son felt when the servant said, your brother is here, and your father has slaughtered the fattened calf because he has him back safe and sound? How did the older brother feel? And if you like to, guess, that'd be cool, just so we can have some audience participation here. So, how do you think the older son felt? Oh, it says nobody's watching. I wonder how long nobody's been watching. Let's just continue. Then he became angry and didn't want to go in. The younger son came home. His younger brother came home. And he wasn't exactly happy about it. He was angry. He was enraged, for other words. Because he didn't. So his father came out and pleaded with him. But he replied to his father, this is going to be quite the response for somebody whose brother was gone and for a long time, and now they're here again. Now they came back. His brother was upset. Maybe not that his brother came back, but the fact that the father killed the fattened calf for him. We're about to find out. Then he became angry and didn't want to go, and so his father came out and pleaded with him. But he replied to his father, "Look, I have been slaving many years for you, and I have never disobeyed your orders. Yet, you never gave me a goat so that I could celebrate with my friends. But when this son of yours, who has devoured your assets with prostitutes, you slaughtered the fattened calf for him." You know, the younger son, what did he do? He just took his inheritance, went and wasted it. The older son did not do that. The older son stayed and didn't waste his inheritance. So the older son thought that he would be the one that the fattened calf would be killed for, not his younger brother. But the father says these words, "Son," he said to him, "you are always with me, and everything I have is yours. But we had to celebrate and rejoice because this brother of yours was dead." Listen, and is alive again. He was lost and is found. You know? When we go off and we live however we want to live, and we don't live according to how God wants us to live, we're dead. When we realize our need for God and we come back to God, we're alive again. So for those of you that are watching, I would love it if you gave me your thoughts on any part of this study here that we did today. I love it because I want this to be kind of like audience participation thing, you know, not just one-sided, if that makes sense. And so I'd love it. Give me your thoughts, whatever you want to say about the passage. Give them to me. And if you don't understand something, we can talk about it. I could try to help the best I can. Those of you that are on here, don't leave yet or at all until this video is over, because I would love it if you have any questions about this passage, or if there's one particular part that stood out to you, or one part that you want to restudy or re-talk about or whatever, we can do that. So those of you that are still here, which are not just one person, could you please put your thoughts, or now there's two, in the comment section right now, please, so we can continue this live stream. And so we can have other things to talk about, discuss, if you'd like to. Questions, same thing, put them down in the comment section. And thoughts, no, I'm not gonna say that, but did you like this? Thoughts about the passage, whatever. That's the end of the passage, but, well, actually, I think I'll just go through the points here again. I'll try my best. So what we talked about was the fact that the younger son wanted all of his inheritance right now. And then he went off and he wasted all of his, it says assets on here, but I like to think of it as inheritance. That's the word I used earlier. Anyway, he went and wasted it all. Spent all of his money, whatever else his father gave him, wasted it all. Here it says, after he had spent everything, a severe famine struck that country, and he had nothing because he just wasted everything. But then he went to work for one of the citizens of that country, who sent him into his fields to feed his pigs. He longed to eat with the pig's food, but no one would give him anything. And then right here, when he came to his father, anyway, I didn't mean to say father. When he came to his senses, which means he was, living his own life, spending all his money, doing whatever he wanted to do with that money or whatever. And he was like, well, now it's gone. Now what do? I don't have any more money to spend. I don't have a job. I can't, provide for myself. And so he went to work to feed a guy's pigs. He longed to eat the pig's food. But at that point, he came to his senses. And guess what he said? He said, how many of my father's hired workers have more than enough food, and here I am dying of hunger? I'll get up, go to my father, and say to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and in your sight. I'm no longer worthy to be called your son. Make me like one of your hired workers. His son thought that his father would never accept him as a son again, and maybe a hired worker, if that. But how I take it, it doesn't actually say this, but this is, a way that we can look at it is, so the father knew that his son took everything that he gave to his son, and he just went off. I want my stuff now. I want all my inheritance you're going to ever give me right now. Not wait. I want it now, and I'm going to leave. Okay, that's what he did, and that's kind of like what his mindset was. Or that's what, appears what his mindset was, because that's what he did. And so after that, his younger son, just went away. And like I said, he was spending all of his money, doing whatever he wanted to with all the inheritances I gave him. But during that time, ever since day one of his son leaving, how I look at it is this. Every single day, the father would go out and he would just stand there, waiting to even see a glimpse of his son. And he didn't. And day after day, he would do this until one day, all the waiting, all the standing out there looking down the road, waiting to see even a glimpse of, of his son at all. After days of that, it was worth it. When he finally, whatever day this was, it's a parable, so it didn't actually happen, but it's a story, right? So we can learn from it. And whatever day that the son actually did come home, the father, like before, every other day before this, he'd go out there, maybe not expecting to see his son, maybe ever again, but he was going to keep going out there, and he's going to keep looking down the road, waiting. And if his son did end up showing up, he would welcome him back as he was before. The day came. He was standing there waiting, and his son came down the road. And I don't know how old this father was, but he was definitely, which I don't know why I said that, but he was definitely a man of compassion, a man of forgiveness, because of this part here. But while the son was still a long way off, his father saw him and was filled with compassion. He wasn't hating his son, saying, how dare you go waste your inheritance, or I'm very disappointed in you. You can only be a hired worker or whatever, or something less than that. He didn't do that, and instead, he ran, threw his arms around his neck, and kissed him. And the son was probably thinking, I didn't expect you to do this because of all the stuff I did. The son said to him, Father, I've sinned against heaven and in your sight. I'm no longer worthy to be called your son. But the response of the father was a lot different than the son was probably expecting, but the father told his servants, quick, bring out the best robe and put it on him. Put a ring on his finger and sandals on his feet. Then bring the fattened calf and slaughter it, and let's celebrate with a feast. Because this son of mine was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found. So they began to celebrate. And God, like when we're off doing our own thing, living however we want to live, doing our own will and not God's. God is standing there. This is a story. And literally, actually not literally. This is just like something to help us understand this better. When we're doing that, when we're going off and spending or wasting our inheritance, God isn't, hateful about it. Instead, he is standing there looking down the road, waiting to see if he'll see a glimpse of us. Now, God knows everything. He knows what we're doing, and he knows everything. So, it's kind of like the father in the story here. How I pictured it. And I think this. At that point in time when we're, doing whatever we want to do, for lack of a better term or word, or whatever. When we're off doing our own thing, living however we want to live, spending or wasting all of our inheritance, I believe that God is standing there, looking down the road, waiting to see if he'll see us, you and me, come down the road, even just to see us. And when that day comes, it'll be like a celebration. And God won't be like, how dare you did all this? Or, I'm very disappointed in you. Nothing like that. The Father said it perfectly when he said, quick, bring out the best robe and put it on him, put a ring on his finger and sandals on his feet, and bring the fattened calf and slaughter it, and let's celebrate the feast. That to me does, and I think, I don't know about you, but to me that does not sound like, oh, son, I hate you for what you did, or I, don't love you anymore, whatever. That's not at all what it sounds like. And that's not at all what it says. He is saying, welcome home, welcome back home. You are my son, and you're not, obviously you're not a hired worker or whatever, hired servant. You're my son, and you always will be. Welcome home. You are my daughter, and you always will be. Welcome home. When we choose and when we feel the need, or when we feel that the void is not being filled by what we try to fill it with, by all the things that the world can offer, when we try to fill it with all that, and we realize none of this is working because it never will, and when we realize the only thing that can fill this void, or that's ever filled this void, is God, it's almost like when the prodigal son came back to his senses. So we come back to our senses and we're like, I've tried. All that the world had to offer, I was doing it. I was trying to fill the void with things that are very temporary and that only bring, if anything, close to filling the void for a little bit. It's not, it's temporary. It's not everlasting. It's not forever. It's just temporary. Maybe like, a day or whatever. I don't know. But we realized the only thing, no matter how hard we try, the only thing that's going to fill the void is God. And the reason why nothing else fills the void is because there is a God-shaped hole that only He can fill. Money won't fill it. Success won't fill it. It won't. Fancy cars won't fill it. Everything that the world has to offer will not fill it. The only thing that will fill it is God. And when we realize that, before we realize that, it's like we're dead. And when we come back to God, we're alive again. We once were lost, but when we came back to God, we were found. And I really hope that this has ministered to you. I really hope that one of you or all of you took something from this. That's the point of doing this at all. And this is why I do this. This is what I'm going to say. The only reason why I make music, the only reason why I do these videos, the only reason why I write songs, the only reason why I have this YouTube channel or whatever, it's nothing to do with me. It's nothing to do with whatever, anything that the world has to offer. It's nothing to do with that. The only reason why I do this, the only reason why I would ever do this at all is for kingdom impact. For somebody to come to know Jesus through what I'm doing. Not to see me, not for fame. If that's ever going to happen, that's not why I do this. Now, you all heard me say that. And hopefully you all don't think it's because of that. Because I'd be very, sad if you did. Because it's not about me. It's not about you. It's not about anybody other than God. That is why I do this. It's not about fame. It's not about riches, and I'm talking about life. It's not. It's not about fancy houses, fancy cars, relationships, whatever. It's not about anything like that. All the goal should really be, and my goal with this is that someone, even if it's just one person, comes to know God through this. Comes to know God through how I live. And again, it's not about me. I am just like a vessel trying to get, for lack of a better term, word, I am like a messenger type of a messenger. I was given a message, and now I'm going to go deliver it to somebody, right? Think of that like this. If this is your first time hearing about God, it's an honor uh, it's an honor that this was what made you. It's an honor that I thought. I mean, I didn't think to make this video. I felt like I should, or like God led me to. So it's an honor and a privilege that I actually chose to make this video, and that you decided to watch. Now, a lot of my videos don't get a lot of views, but again, I don't do it for that, and it doesn't disappoint me when a video doesn't get a lot of views. It does not. Just as long as somebody comes to know Jesus, or even rededicates their life to Jesus, or even grows in their faith in Jesus, that would make this all worth it. That would make all my songs worth it. I don't do it just so I could be a Christian artist, or just so, whatever. I don't do it, and I don't do it just because it's fun. It's fun, but that's not why I don't do it. I do it so that way you grow in your relationship with Jesus, or you rededicate your life to Jesus, or you come to know Jesus for the first time. That's why I do this. I don't do it for fame. I don't. I don't do it for, money. I don't do it for anything that the world can offer. I don't. The only reason why I do this is for Him. We need more people to step out and say, I am going to do something. I'm going to use my influence, whatever influence you have, and whoever you have influence on, I am going to do it so that way He be glorified. That way the kingdom of God is spread. The word of God is spread. The word of God is read. And the word of God is applied. It's practiced. It's lived. And if it's none of those things, then you're likely just opening it, reading the verse, shutting it. Oh, I don't even remember what I read, but check it off the box. It's almost like a to-do list, and it should not be like that. It should be, you dig into this thing. It's almost like when somebody's starving, they don't just sit there and look at their food, and then they walk away and they forget what they were just looking at. Because if you're starving and you look at food, you're probably going to remember it. It's almost like that. If you just open this and you just read something or whatever, and then you just, not just throw it, but sit on the shelf or put it back on the shelf, and it collects dust, or you really just read a verse that doesn't mean anything, or that you didn't put meaning to. That's what it's like. We need to actually be intentional. As I've heard from somebody before, from Caleb, those of you that know who Caleb is, most of you all probably do. Caleb says it takes intentionality, and it does. If you're not intentional about reading, if you're not intentional about praying, if you're not intentional about growing, you're never going to do it. Okay? You're not. If you're not intentional about reading or seeing what God has for you, if you're not intentional about praying, your prayer life is never going to get any, deeper. You're not going to have your relationship with God's not going to grow. If you don't ever read His Word, then you're never going to know what He has for you. Apply what you read in here to your life. If you don't put it to practice, you're not growing. If you don't put it into practice, or if you don't pray, it's not like a rule book. What I meant by that, it's not you're good at ways you're bad, and hopefully we all know that. But if we don't, it's not. And it's all about asking for forgiveness. It's all about growing in our relationship with God. If we don't do those things, if we don't read God's Word, if we don't pray, likely we're not going to grow in our relationship with God. So I have a challenge for those of you who are watching, to read a chapter a day, or a story a day in the Bible. And don't just read the story, put the Bible down, and go about your day and go play your video game. Open up the Bible, read it, and until you apply it to your life, until you put it into practice, I'd say don't touch the video game. I'd say don't touch the phone. I'd say do not do anything that distracts you from, growing in a relationship with God. That is why I do this. That is why I do this. It's all about Him, and it's not about me. It's all about His will, it's not about mine. It's all about what He wants, and not about what I want. It's all about what He desires, and not about what I desire. At all. Period. At all. What He says goes, and what I say doesn't. He needs to be on the throne. I don't. I need to get up and leave the throne. And I need to let Him onto the throne. Let's do it. And then it actions speak louder than the words. It takes more than just saying it. It takes more than just saying, oh yeah, God, you're on the throne of my life. I'm not. And then you just go back and do whatever you want to do. It takes more than that. Prodigal son learned that. And the prodigal son learned that he had it better with his father. He had it better when he didn't go off and do what he wanted to do. He wasted his inheritance. But when he came back, the father saw him as if he never left. The father saw him again as if he never left. It's like he was always there because he welcomed him back home as his son. When we follow God and then we drift or we do what we want to do, we come back, God sees us as if we never left and as if we were His son, if we were His child, like we are. Thank you guys for watching. I really want to know, do you guys want me to do more of these? And I think I'm just going to. Anyway, so I really love these. I really enjoy these. We can talk about music too, do Q&As, but I think I kind of want to lean more to these. Or a mix of both, a Bible study and then a Q&A at the same video. But this one's gotten a little too long, so I don't think I'll do that in this one. Because we're on here for about an hour and 3 minutes. So, thank you for watching. Thank you for putting up with me for about a little over an hour. For those of you that did. And, which right now nobody's watching, so you didn't. But, it's not the point. Like I said, I don't do this for views. I don't do this for fame. I don't do this for money. And I do not do this for me. I don't like to think about that either. I do this for God. It has nothing to do with me. Nothing. It's not about this guy. It's not about you. Because if it was, then there really wouldn't even be a point of making a video if it was about me. It's all about God. It's all about what He wants. Not my will. Not my plans. Your will. And your plans. Thank you guys for watching. I really enjoyed this. I hope you did too. I hope you actually took something from this and applied it. And not just hear me read it or you follow along. I want you to apply it. I want you to practice that. And if you don't do that, this is a good place to start. Because every live stream, every Bible study we do on here, I will say, put it into practice. So, take what you learned today and put it into practice. Apply it. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you learned something today. And even I learned something today. So hopefully you guys did too. Thank you guys. And in the future, we might do the same one again. Same story. At some point, I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. But if we do, we'll already have a head start if we want to dissect the story some more. We'll already have a head start because we already started on it, right? Yeah. So, thank you guys for watching. And we'll see you later. I won't ramble anymore. Have a good night, guys, and we'll see you later.